सुहानी सिटी वेलिंगटन, न्यूजीलैंड का संसद यहाँ पे है। न्यूजीलैंड की राजधानी कह सकते हैं आप। अब यहाँ पर दिवाली पहली मर्तबा मनाई जाए और हम आपको ये ना पहुँचाएं, ऐसा तो हो ही नहीं सकता। वैसे यहाँ पर बहुत आकर्षक प्रोग्राम होने को है। न्यूजीलैंड के प्राइम मिनिस्टर हेलन क्लार्क, डॉक्टर अशरफ चौधरी और बहुत सारे लोग यहाँ पर उपस्थित हैं। यहाँ पर कल्चरल आइटम्स होगी और ये सब आपको देखने को मिलेगी सिर्फ इंडियंस टीवी पर। For Indians TV, Helen Clark, we welcome you to this wonderful event. It's just going to start off inside, like, and it's also buzzing in there. Are you looking forward to this?
I am. It's a big first for the New Zealand Parliament for us to have a Diwali celebration here. We started officially having a Chinese New Year here, and now the importance of Diwali to so many in our community is such that we have to recognise it here in Parliament.
You've just been to India and you've seen so much, but what we are going to see inside is going to be a little bit different, but it's amazing to have back in home in the Beehive, first time ever.
First time ever, and it's a sign of how multicultural New Zealand is becoming and the importance of embracing all our communities and their festivals.
Next week we're going to see two events together, the Diwali and Eid celebrated one after another. Message to our viewers for the Diwali and the Eid.
Both very, very important festivals to increasing numbers of Kiwis, and it's really making New Zealand so interesting to have the wide range of festivals. In the old days it was Christmas and Easter, and now we're seeing so many different festivals come.
Will we perhaps see a public holiday?
Probably not. People think we've got enough as it is, but certainly we're very happy to be part of the celebration.
We thank you for your time. I hope won't hold you up.
Ministers of Crown, Members of Parliament, my colleagues, invited guests, ambassadors, High Commissioners, and leaders and members of the South Asian community and other ethnic communities. Kia ora, namaskar, sat sri akal, assalamu alaikum. Happy Diwali to all of you. This is the first Diwali celebration in New Zealand Parliament. As the first Member of Parliament from South Asian background, I'm really privileged and delighted to be the host of this first Diwali in the Parliament. And I'm proud that the community, the wider Indian community, has made it possible for me to be in the Parliament and to be able to get the recognition for all of you that you also part of this people's house, the House of Representatives. And I'm delighted for you that you have become part of New Zealand society through this Parliament, and that you feel that this is home for you as well. Now, Diwali is a function which is a festival of lights. All of us around the world, we celebrate with great guide, with a lot of enthusiasm. A lot of people, young people, elderly, they all enjoy the day. And together, this function has become truly international. And I'm delighted that here in New Zealand, we are putting up new traditions, that hopefully one day, this function, like the Christmas, like other days, also becomes one of the national days for all to join in. So tonight, this evening, Prime Minister, I will not take any further time, but I'll invite Revati for the Ganesh mantra to start the traditional way of celebrating Diwali with this traditional dance.
Kia ora and greetings to everyone on this first ever occasion of the celebration of Diwali in the New Zealand Parliament. A very important occasion because the Parliament of New Zealand must represent all the people, and it is a privilege for us to be hosting the communities of South Asia on the occasion of Diwali in 2004. And I would like to thank you, Ashraf, for taking the initiative to bring everyone together to make this a part of our parliamentary calendar. When I was young in New Zealand, we celebrated really only one set of festivals. That was the Christian ones around Easter and Christmas. But over the years, what a much more interesting place New Zealand has become, with communities from all around the world making their homes here in much bigger numbers, and that has meant that the visibility of the community festivals has risen so much. I might say many of us would not have been aware of Māori New Year in the past either. We now are. We are very aware of Chinese New Year, and for the first time around 5 years ago, the government began to sponsor a parliamentary reception for Chinese New Year, and we have noticed the huge growth in size of the Chinese New Year festivals, Lantern Festival, now Moon Festivals, as that community celebrates. Diwali has gone in my time as a Member of Parliament from being something celebrated quite quietly among Indian families locally in Mount Albert and Mount Roskill to being something that draws vast crowds. And I heard there were tens of thousands went through the Diwali celebrations in Auckland last weekend. I'd like to thank everyone who's come to Parliament tonight, in such large numbers. I see many old friends from Auckland Indian community here. I know you've come from across the country to make it special for us, and for the first occasion to have this great banquet hall of Parliament filled really is wonderful. I think it's also time for us to record our thanks for the contribution peoples of South Asia make to New Zealand. Hard-working, high-contributing citizens, and it's a pleasure to have you among us tonight. Happy Diwali!
Thank you. I'm very happy and I feel honoured that I have this chance to address all of you on this joyous occasion. I'm thankful for those who have taken the initiative to organize this function in these hallowed premises. Diwali, as you know, today is no longer a festival confined only to India. It is celebrated by Indian communities all over the world. It is important for what it stands for, what the significance of Diwali lies in what it stands for. The victory of light over darkness, the victory of good over evil, the victory of righteousness over unrighteousness. More important, as you know, amongst the trading community, it is also starts the beginning of the new financial year for the trading community. And it is said that on this day, the doors are kept open so that the goddess of wealth, when she passes by, feels invited to enter into any home where she finds the doors open. So this is a day when we open our hearts to everybody, and on this occasion, I would like to extend my greetings to all Indians, to all well-wishers and friends of India, and all those who have gathered here to celebrate this.
It was very good, and I hope every year this is repeated.
And what do you think of the Indians of being in the VI?
Actually, it makes us proud that Indians are being recognized now, and it should be good and it should be continued. As Ashok Ghazi has demand for the holiday, we'll support to it.
That's right, folks, you heard it here first. We're going to get a Diwali holiday in New Zealand.
Hopefully.
Maybe we need to migrate a few more Indians and then we'll have to be there.
That process is on.
Absolutely wonderful. I don't know why it was never done before. You know?
Yeah, we wonder about it too.
Absolutely. I've been here 30 years and this is the first function in this type of situation. So absolutely wonderful. Very impressed.
I think it's a good recognition.
It's a good, you know, people will know what Diwali is. Brought people from all over New Zealand together under one roof.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Your impressions of the first Diwali at Parliament?
Well, you know, over the last 10 days, I've seen Diwali preparations in India, in Mumbai, Delhi, and Bangalore.
Right.
I've seen Diwali preparations and celebrations in Serangoon Road in Singapore.
Wow.
And it's nice to come home to New Zealand and now in the highest place possible have Diwali celebrated in Parliament in this way. I think we've arrived.
For the first time, it's a good feeling, isn't it?
Oh, well, it's indeed for the first time, and it will continue to be so. So that's great.
And you were on the tour with the Prime Minister, Helen Clark,
Yes.
in India.
Yes.
And you were going through that phase of Diwali being set up in India as well.
Yes, yes.
And so many states.
Navratram and then Diwali preparations, you know how Indians are quite crazy about Navratram.
That's right.
So yeah, it was wonderful what they were doing. It was great. So the culmination is coming home now. And over the weekend in Auckland, Asia 2000, and now this. So
It was a huge event in Auckland.
absolutely,
Yeah, it
60,000 people. Very well organized, very well organized.
Very good start.
Yeah.
Future में और भी बढ़ सकता है. It's good for the Indian community
Yes.
to be recognized or to be invited. It's a very good privilege for everybody.
Oh, it's fantastic. We take pride, particularly for Wellington. It has been held in Wellington, particularly as
Yes.
Indian, first time in New Zealand, and
correct.
particularly for Indian people, particularly by this government, that they are hosting it for the purpose of recognizing the ethnicity and Indian presence in New Zealand.
I thought it was fantastic. As one of the new New Zealanders, my father is a Fijian Indian. He was a migrant to New Zealand.
Yes.
My mother was a fifth generation European New Zealander. I thought it was great to be here amongst leaders of the Indian community and leaders of the New Zealand community as a whole, and seeing them come together to celebrate part of my culture and part of our culture.
So the duality in you is actually helping you appreciate this a lot more.
Really, it helps me to appreciate it, and it helps me to feel part of it.
Well, this is amazing because it's brought a whole lot of people. It's not only Hindus, but people of all different sects of our Indian community. And that's nice. I think we, in a small country like New Zealand, where we have got a smattering of people from different sects or sectarian parts, it's good for us all to meet together and enjoy it.
It's amazing. It's great. You feel that you're in India, and you feel that the New Zealanders are wanting Indians to enjoy themselves, and they have also come together celebrating Indian festival, and we feel really great and homely.
इंडियन टीवी पर डॉक्टर अशरफ चौधरी हमारे साथ हैं, यहाँ संसद में ही है। यहाँ पर जो आज हुआ इसको देखकर लोग हैरान हो गए, इतनी सारी तालियां बजी, इतनी सारी फेस्टिविटीज़, इतनी सारी स्वीट्स। अशरफ जी, इट वाज एन एक्सपीरियंस ऑफ लाइफ।
इट्स बीन एक्सपीरियंस ऑफ लाइफ टाइम। ये मज़ा आ गया आज, क्योंकि इतने लोग आए थे, तकरीबन 500 के करीब, और ये कम्युनिटी ने मिल के सबसे ये हमारी हेल्प की है, तो हमें रियली एक नई हिस्ट्री हमने बना दी आज। और मज़े की बात यह है कि दुनिया अपने न्यूजीलैंड भर से लोग आए हुए थे, और यहाँ से पार्लियामेंट से भी 40 से 50 MP भी आए हुए थे, और फिर प्राइम मिनिस्टर साहब ने बड़ी अच्छी तकरीर की और बहुत मज़ा आया, और सभी लोग बड़े खुश गए हैं। और यही कुछ लोग तो कह रहे थे, आपने सुना ही होगा कि वो कहते हैं जी अब ये दिवाली की छुट्टी होनी चाहिए, पब्लिक हॉलीडे होनी चाहिए। देखें, मैं तो लोगों को कहा है कि ये एक छोटा सा कदम रखा है आज हमने मेरी तरफ से। मेरी एक बड़ी लंबी विजन है इसके लिए, और मैं चाहता हूँ कि ये दिवाली और बाकी जो ख़ासकर और भी हमारी कम्युनिटी के मुस्लिम कम्युनिटी के या सिख कम्युनिटी के फंक्शंस हैं, हम कोशिश करेंगे कि अब उनको भी यहाँ पे मनाया जाएगा। तो कोशिश है कि अब ये एक किस्म का एनुअल फंक्शन बन जाए हमारे लिए।
बिल्कुल सर, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। एंड बिहाइंड एवरी सक्सेसफुल मैन देयर इज़ अ वुमन। आज आप देख रहे हैं, इनको सुन भी सकेंगे। मिसेस चौधरी हमारे साथ है। आप जो हमारे लिसनर्स हैं, जो व्यूवर्स हैं, उनको ईद और दिवाली एक साथ आ रही है, तो इनके लिए कुछ मैसेज कहना चाहेंगे?
जी, मैं सब लोगों को बहुत बहुत मुबारक कहती हूँ। दिवाली इस दफ़ा फर्स्ट टाइम पार्लियामेंट में मनाई गई है, और हमें बहुत खुशी हुई है। सब लोग दूर दूर से आए हैं, सबको दिवाली और ईद मुबारक हो।
बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। तो ये मिस्टर एंड मिसेस अशरफ चौधरी यहाँ पर हमारे साथ हैं। आप दोनों का बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया।
बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया, थैंक यू वेरी मच, एंड हैप्पी ईद इज कमिंग, एंड हैप्पी दिवाली सब सुनने वालों को, सब देखने वालों को मेरी तरफ से, एंड आई लुक फॉरवर्ड टू नेक्स्ट ईयर। I would like to invite Dr. Pushpa Wood to say a few words.
Namaste, Kia ora, good evening. आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री श्रीमती हेलन क्लार्क, सभी मंत्रीगण, पार्लियामेंट के सभी सदस्य और यहाँ उपस्थित सभी माननीय अतिथिगण, एक भारतीय होने के नाते आज केवल मेरे लिए ही नहीं, सभी भारतीयों के लिए बहुत गर्व की बात है कि आज पहली बार इस पार्लियामेंट में यहाँ की सरकार के द्वारा दीपावली के अवसर को मनाया जा रहा है। और आप जानते हैं कि इस अवसर का मनाया जाना इस बात का सबूत है कि हम भारतीयों के योगदान को इस देश में महत्व दिया जा रहा है। दीपावली का पर्व आप सभी जानते हैं बहुत पावन है, और इस पावन अवसर को इस पार्लियामेंट में लाने का सबसे बड़ा श्रेय जाता है डॉक्टर अशरफ चौधरी को और यहाँ की सरकार को। I'll say a few words in English as well. Regardless of why we celebrate it, regardless of how we celebrate it, it has one very, very deep and profound meaning. And that meaning is to bring us all together. It is a symbol of unity for all Indians anywhere in the world, living anywhere, in any circumstances, from any religion, any background, any status. I grew up celebrating India with my Muslim friends, my Parsi friends, my Sikh friends, all friends. So Diwali now, over the years, has become truly multi-religious, multicultural, international celebration, individual and collective methods. Let us destroy all forms of discrimination from this earth, and let us kindle the light of love, joy, peace, and happiness for all. Thank you.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister Helen Clark, His Excellency the High Commissioner of India Mr. Harish Dogra and Mrs. Dogra, Honourable Excellencies of various diplomatic corps, the Honourable leaders of other parties, Honourable Ministers, Honourable members, greatly humbled and privileged to speak on behalf of my esteemed organisation, New Zealand Indian Central Association, on this very auspicious occasion of Diwali celebration. Ladies and gentlemen, at the outset, a very happy and joyous Diwali and prosperous New Year to you all. As this is the most momentous day in the history of New Zealand, the first ever Diwali celebrations at Parliment Building, Wellington, New Zealand, I am absolutely delighted and deeply honoured to be able to say a few words on behalf of New Zealand Indian Central Association on Diwali Festival of Lights. It is also appropriate to acknowledge the tremendous effort made by Dr. Chaudhary. Give him a big hand, please, for coordinating this splendid occasion. Ladies and gentlemen, a very big thank you from all of us to Dr. Chaudhary. I think, come on, let's have a bigger hands with him. For initiating this golden moment of Diwali. And this makes Diwali in New Zealand a very special festival this year. This is truly the emergence of multi-ethnic, multicultural and multilingual New Zealand, our beautiful and peaceful country. New Zealand illustrates the solidarity, oneness and togetherness of the people of New Zealand. One nation, one people. Ladies and gentlemen, our neighbouring island nation Fiji has public holiday on Diwali, and we sincerely hope that one day New Zealand will also declare the public holiday for Diwali celebration. I may not alive when the Diwali public holiday comes, but I'm sure the future generation will see it. An ideal friend to light his way and rejoice at his return. People of Ayodhya celebrate Diwali, means row of diyas, to welcome their favorite son, Lord Rama. Diwali is a symbol of all these good and virtues. It symbolizes the lifting of spiritual enlightenment from darkness and victory over the evil. And friends have right to differ, and we look forward to more closer ties between India and New Zealand. She also paid a visit to symbol of love, the Taj Mahal, and of course she mentioned Bollywood, IT city Bangalore, to further reinforce the relationship between India and New Zealand. Give a big hand, please. We come from a great nation with a history going back 5 and festivals, and yet one heart, Hindustani. The most vibrant democracy in the world on the move towards prosperity, and we take pride and joy sharing our culture in New Zealand. We also take pride to be New Zealanders. Last but not least, let us all share the message of peace, prosperity and happiness symbolized by the festival of Diwali and continue our efforts to nurture these human qualities which are necessary for the welfare of mankind. Once again, my best wishes for a happy and...
Pleasure to be here today, Prime Minister, Your Excellency, the High Commissioner for India, my very good friend and constituent Ashok Bhai Daji, and Judge Satan Atnan, and many guests here in the audience, like very familiar faces, many colleagues from Parliament and members of the Diplomatic Corps. We are here on a unique occasion, as other speakers have spoken, about the first time Diwali has been celebrated at our Parliament. It is my privilege and pleasure to be Minister of Ethnic Affairs, and over the last 2 years that I've been privileged to hold that job, I've attended many ethnic functions. But the colour, the exuberance, the energy of the Indian community has never ceased to amaze me and impress me. And tonight we see here at Parliament the colours, the sights and the sounds of India. And that is part of a statement about where New Zealand is today. It is a country led by a government that is committed to valuing diversity. We are all New Zealanders together, but we are different. And that difference is not scary, it's not divisive, and it's not bad. It's good. It provides energy, it provides enthusiasm, it provides vitality to our country. And together we are making a new nation of many faces. And tonight, Diwali is here at Parliament, and as long as this government continues, Diwali will become an annual event. I'd just like to conclude by thanking my very good friend Ashraf Chowdhury for being the catalyst for making this happen. Congratulations, Ashraf. Everybody, enjoy the evening.
Now, that concludes the first part of this function tonight, and I'd like to ask you to please join in thanking all the speakers this evening. Thank you.
Your Excellency, the High Commissioner for India, my very good friend and constituent Ashok Bhai Daji, and Judge Satan Atnan, and many guests here in the audience, like very familiar faces, many colleagues from Parliament and members of the Diplomatic Corps. We are here on a unique occasion, as other speakers have spoken, about the first time Diwali has been celebrated at our Parliament. It is my privilege and pleasure to be Minister of Ethnic Affairs, and over the last 2 years that I've been privileged to hold that job, I've attended many ethnic functions. But the colour, the exuberance, the energy of the Indian community has never ceased to amaze me and impress me. And tonight we see here at Parliament the colours, the sights and the sounds of India. And that is part of a statement about where New Zealand is today. It is a country led by a government that is committed to valuing diversity. We are all New Zealanders together, but we are different. And that difference is not scary, it's not divisive, and it's not bad. It's good. It provides energy, it provides enthusiasm, it provides vitality to our country. And together we are making a new nation of many faces. And tonight, Diwali is here at Parliament, and as long as this government continues, Diwali will become an annual event. I'd just like to conclude by thanking my very good friend Ashraf Chowdhury for being the catalyst for making this happen. Congratulations, Ashraf. Everybody, enjoy the evening.
Now, that concludes the first part of this function tonight, and I'd like to ask you to please join in thanking all the speakers this evening. Thank you. Dr. Bhushan and Bhagwan to take over from here. Bhagwan and Bhushan.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The sights, the sounds.
The judges and the think, basically, I think a good, right idea. We need to take...
Those of you who are watching this may be allowed to enjoy what is going on stage. I realize that not everybody can try and keep the level of the sound down if possible. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. The next dance which we have...
Establishing it with Diwali, and who knows where it will lead from here.
Prime Minister, I saw you when someone was talking in Hindi. You were smiling and clapping. How do you feel when somebody is giving a speech in Hindi?
I personally am a strong supporter of people keeping their heritage language. I've just been up in the little island country of Niue where we're trying to help them keep their language. So I'd really be keen to see people of Indian descent pass their languages on to their young people.
And Prime Minister, this has been celebrated in New Zealand after your visit to India. So has there been any progress made with India as far as the trade and entrepreneurship is concerned?
I felt very positive about the visit, and I feel that it's now up to us in New Zealand as the small country to make sure we take the initiatives forward. I found a lot of goodwill in India towards New Zealand, and I think we now have to build on that.
So Prime Minister, can I have your final message to my listeners?
Final message is it's been a privilege to be hosting Diwali here in Wellington at Parliament. Wonderful to see it grow so big as a celebration. I'm told that maybe 60,000 people went through in Auckland the other day, and I think it shows a maturing of New Zealand society that we can all celebrate together like this.
Thank you so much, Prime Minister.